or when we'd have football, Macklin had much more serious issues. Would he ever play the game that he loves again?
Macklin sidesteps in for the touchdown!
Look out! He's gone!
10-5 touchdown!
Jeremy Macklin!
The first time I kind of experienced anything, I was down at the Super Bowl. That week afterwards, I just wasn't feeling 100%, didn't really have energy. So I was like, something's not right. It was the end of February, early March, was when I was at my lowest. It was time to, take it to somebody who actually specialized in that.
He had fevers and drenching night sweats, a poor appetite. Over about a 4 to 6 week period, he had lost about 20 pounds.
It wasn't the typical night sweat. I was drenched from head to toe. I was sleeping like 14, 15 hours a day.
He had an enlarged spleen and some enlarged and inflamed lymph nodes in his chest and in his abdomen. And at that time, there was some concern that he had lymphoma.
And the first reaction is, what exactly is that?
I didn't know lymphoma was a form of cancer. And when he was talking to me about it, it just didn't sound right. If I have it, I wouldn't be able to play this year. You need the chemo to get rid of it, chemo to cure it. So then the light bulb kind of went off that, I thought you needed chemo when you have cancer.
An ailing Jeremy Macklin returned home to St. Louis to his surrogate parents. Dr. Jeff Parise was Macklin's youth football coach. And with Jeremy lacking a father figure, he and his wife Cindy took him into their home. Dr. Parise was convinced Macklin had cancer.
There was, some reasonable likelihood that he may have something that could really be life-threatening, and it was tough to deal with.
Something that I worked for since I was 9 years old can be taken away from you at the drop of a dime. I was preparing myself that I'm gonna, tackle chemotherapy like I was, playing a game.
This is a scary thing. Young guy, that has a lot of talent, and in those moments, you begin to realize how small football is.
Macklin did everything he could to avoid having surgery, but the cause of his illness remained a mystery.
Jeremy Macklin
cannot practice until doctors clear him.
The Eagles still don't know exactly what it is.
The internet abuzz with rumors.
Some of the stuff that was being said was just ridiculous.
What we do know is that he had some sort of what we describe as a nonspecific inflammatory condition where his spleen and his lymph nodes were inflamed, and we don't know what caused that inflammation. It's a theory that it was probably a virus, but again, we don't know that, and I don't think we'll ever know it.
Jeremy had what was ultimately a surgery here in St. Louis where they got adequate tissue, and the oncologist studied the tissue and never clearly came up with a diagnosis. They're convinced it's not lymphoma.
Macklin's offseason seemed much longer than the one everybody else was experiencing throughout the lockout. Training camp opened, but Jeremy wasn't there at first. Halfway through, he returned, but couldn't yet practice football. He never played a preseason snap.
He looked me in the face and said, Jason, football is not, our end-all, be-all. I got to focus my life on more than just football.
13 passes, career high. Just months after, would we be playing football and would I have my health back? Kind of amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty cool, man. It's definitely pretty cool. Like I said, it's a blessing. 4 months ago, 3 months ago, I was thinking about, tomorrow I may get a phone call. That's some bad news. So when you think about that and think about having early success in the season, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't mind saying this. He's my new favorite player. He had a rough upbringing in St. Louis, and as his story, as you learn, was not unlike that of Michael Oher of Baltimore. Everybody knows that story, the subject of the movie The Blind Side. And then before his 23rd birthday, Jeremy Macklin confronted with all of this, yet the smile that you saw, the determination, the maturity well behind his years, it never wavered. He still made it to a pair of youth football camps this summer because, as he told me, I made a commitment to help kids, to go out there to teach them football, so that's what I wanted to do. Now he himself can play football, and as we already knew, with his ability, the sky's the limit. Now we can also see the same is true for him as a person. Jeremy Maclin warming up, and he will get a big welcome. The first catch is going to mean a lot to him. The crowd knows what happened, knows what he's gone through, and they know that he's such a key part of the Eagles' offense. Guy, he just turned 23 on May 11th. And Michael Vick found him last week 13 times, a career high. Last time they played the Giants, Vick found him 9 times. Let's go back to the lake now for a lunchtime cheesesteak with Philly favorite son, Sal Palantone.